All right, guys. So today is not July 8th. On July 8th, there was an announcement for Heroes of Storm. I didn't make a video on July 8th because it was a rough day, and I was watching Into the Nexus, and it was just one of those days where it was a little difficult. So I decided to give it a day. And if you guys know me, you know I generally don't make a lot of announcements, right? I think I made an announcement video after 2018 BlizzCon, and then right when they right when they canceled HEC. And I apologize if I cough. I've had a cough for I don't know, forever. It doesn't matter. Um, so I usually don't like making these videos. I kind of follow the trend of like, this isn't an airport. You don't need to announce your departures, right? Um, and everyone seems to always announce they're leaving the game. They're doing this. They're doing that whenever there's any minor announcement at all. So let's talk a little bit about what happened on Friday. So July 8th, there was a Heroes of Storm update, but it didn't update the game. It just updated what they're doing to the game. They say, this June marks the 7-year anniversary of Heroes of the Storm, combining legendary characters from all of our universes. It naturally brought players together into a truly unique experience. Heroes and its community are home to some of the most passionate gamers from around the world, and we're committed to making sure that you can continue to enjoy your adventures through the Nexus. Moving forward, we will support Heroes in a manner similar to our other long-standing games, StarCraft and StarCraft 2. In the future, we'll continue seasonal roles and hero rotations. While the in-game shop will remain operational, there are no plans for new for-purchase content to be added. Future patches will primarily focus on client sustainability and bug fixing, with balance updates coming as needed. As a token of our appreciation, we are gifting the incredibly rare Epic Arcane Lizard Mount to all players within the next week's patch. To our Heroes community, we say thank you. You continue to be one of our most passionate communities. We're grateful for your continued dedication and support, and as always, we look forward to seeing you in the Nexus. This was well written, and they wrote it in a way to basically avoid the words maintenance mode, but explain that it is maintenance mode. So, what did they announce and what does this actually mean? Well, there's a few things. One, the servers are staying up, which is something that some people were questioning that this would be the announcement. Two, the game will be continued to be supported like StarCraft and StarCraft 2, which means maintenance mode. StarCraft and StarCraft 2 are on maintenance mode. They get a balance patch maybe every year, maybe twice a year. They only get they only get things fixed if there's game-breaking bugs. Um, and they continue to do a seasonal rotation, and they continue to do a ranked rotation. In the future, we'll continue seasonal roles and hero rotation. So heroes will rotate, seasons will rotate, and ranked seasons will rotate. So those are the big three things that will continue to go. But there will be no new heroes, and balance patches will probably be few and far between. There may be one tomorrow because I believe they had a team on it. But I will say there was a confirmation yesterday on a I don't remember his name, but he's the vice president of Activision Blizzard. They asked him about Heroes of the Storm, and he said there are no team members left on Heroes of the Storm. We needed to move them over to upcoming projects that are exciting, something like that. So there is confirmation that there are no official team members left on Heroes of the Storm. There might be some that'll pop in and out to fix bugs. Maybe one here or there that'll move over, make it a passion project to do a balance patch. But that's really what it means. The servers will stay up, and StarCraft servers have been up forever. Warcraft servers have been up forever. So the game will still be around. There was another update around this same time. So Heroes Hearth, or now Wisdom Media Group, they ran CCL, which was basically the largest Heroes of the Storm tournament going on since HEC. I would say Masters Clash is probably a close second. NGS and Heroes Lounge are rather large for being just kind of chair league. Um, CCL canceled their LAN and basically said that they've been operating at a loss for quite a while. I've done the math. They're anywhere between $20,000 to $35,000 loss every single season. So that's twice a year. So they're out $40,000 to $70,000 a year just trying to keep esports going. So a lot of people are mad at them. And I don't blame them for being mad because they promised a LAN, everyone bought plane tickets, they canceled the LAN, now everyone's out a lot of money for plane tickets. But they're out a lot of money and they tried. I'll at least say that. I don't think there's any winners here. So the esports of Heroes will always be in kind of a rough spot, especially since there's probably not going to be another CCL season. Invent Global used to write articles for Heroes of the Storm. They just laid off a couple of people that were dedicated to Blizzard content, including Heroes of the Storm. Into the Nexus just canceled their show, their podcast, which was the longest running Heroes of the Storm podcast, and they dropped theirs on Friday. They made their Out of the Nexus announcement. So oftentimes with these announcements, it hits the community harder than it should because of one major thing. The announcement itself, we've kind of already known, right? We knew the game was kind of on its own maintenance mode. There were only balance patches here and there, but the balance patches still kept the game pretty interesting. We knew that there were still people looking at the game, so if we did have something we really were passionate about, they could maybe adjust or change that thing. Now that there's no way around it, oftentimes what happens is all of the content creators start really looking critically at the content they're making and why they're making that content. If they're making the content for a living, depending on the type of content they make, they won't be able to continue doing that. YouTubers specifically have a really, really hard time with games on maintenance mode because you can only really talk about new things, new strategies, and if the meta isn't shifting, and if there aren't balance patches, and there's not new content, YouTubers will hit a point where they've done a video on everything. So a lot of YouTubers will likely leave. Now, I think I was probably one of the last 4 that was actually making relatively current content. And mine was even slowing down a lot. That's why I started doing the coaching videos, because I was already making those coaching videos. I just started making them public. And that was through my Patreon. So what happens with these is people realize, well, if the game's only ever going to slowly die off, do I want to be building content in a game that's slowly dying off, or do I want to build up in another game that's slowly growing? And that's a big challenge for a lot of people. And it's a big question. I would say after HEC, during HEC, I was making enough money to fully pay my bills. After HEC, for a little while, I made basically an announcement that said, hey, HEC's dying, but the content creators are staying around. And I stayed. I think 90% of my content was still Heroes of Storm related, maybe 95%, because I loved I loved the community. I loved the game. It's a great game. But I think where Blizzard really messed up, and I can share a little bit about what happened now that I have really no chance of working with Blizzard. During HEC, the company was, Heroes of Storm itself was in the black. What in the black means basically is they're profitable. So Heroes of Storm was profitable during HEC. HEC at itself was a loss, but the advertisement it brought to Heroes of the Storm, and every time people saw 5 heroes win the grand finals, they wanted to learn those heroes too, and they wanted to buy skins for those heroes, and they wanted to buy this and that. And so as long as skins were coming out, people were still buying the skins. As long as heroes were coming out, people were still buying the heroes. Where Heroes of Storm made their mistake was they look at their pro scenes separate from their actual game. Magic the Gathering did this really well. They looked at their pro scene as, this will not be profitable, but this will make people want to buy more cards. And that's exactly what they did. Magic the Gathering ran a pro league for a decade, giving $60,000 to all of their pro league players. And they had tournament winnings and a bunch of other stuff going on as well. And that whole thing operated at a loss. But it encouraged so many people to build the decks that they saw and to try out new things. And the meta shifted so often that people had to adapt. The pros had to adapt, which then meant everyone else needed to adapt. I remember there was one guy, he built this deck that was called Eggs. And I remember that when he built this deck, the whole deck costed like $3 or something. Like every card in the deck was like 10 cents. And he won a professional tournament playing this game. He beat like $400 decks. And the price of eggs went from being like $3 to like $300 because so many people were buying into that. And that is what esports is supposed to do. The challenge about being a third party running an esports program is that you're going to run it at a loss. Every tournament that's been ran since HEC has been ran at a loss because we don't get the viewership to make that work. Blizzard is the only one to make that work. So that was their first mistake, was dropping their own esports group because that's the easiest marketing that they can do. Their second mistake was 2.0 mixed with not enough content to make 2.0 work. So 2.0, I think for most people, was the time that they came back to Heroes of the Storm. You could earn anything in the game. You could earn skins by playing the game. You could earn mounts by playing the game. You could earn heroes by playing the game. And they also came back with these like big bundles, so you could come back to the game and get a chunk of heroes, jump in, and have fun. 2.0 was the biggest spike that Heroes of the Storm had in popularity and in player base and everything else. But if you can't bring out content fast enough, then people can earn everything that they need. I did my best to spend money on Heroes of the Storm whenever I got the opportunity. But as the heroes started slowing down and coming out, instead of a hero coming out and me buying the bundle, which has the hero, the mount, all the skins for like $20-$30, I had enough gems to buy the gems and shards to buy all the skins and mounts. I had enough gold to buy the hero. I had nothing to really spend money on in Heroes of the Storm, and I don't even play that much comparatively to other people. I make content, I coach, I do a lot of other things. So my account level is like, I don't know, 1,300 compared to people that are at 3,000. If I don't have anything left to buy, they certainly don't have anything left to buy to spend money on anyways. So this is where the two major mistakes happened with Heroes of the Storm. They dropped their pro scene, which was their marketing. They made it to where you can earn everything in game, and they have no other method of having you spend money on the game. And because of that, we ended up with a game that was making less and less profit the less content they released. And so they stopped replacing members of the team that were leaving until everyone could basically play the game without ever needing to pay anything. They were making no profit, and they said, why do we need to replace the team if we're making no profit on this game? I made an April Fool's video about if I was the director of Heroes of the Storm, and half of my ideas were jokes and half of my ideas were serious. And that was part of what I wanted to do with that April Fool's video, is I wanted to give really good ideas of how to kind of bring people back into the game. And many of my ideas were monetization. I said we should have a battle pass that's tied to the major esports events. Encourage these esports events for people to watch them. We did Twitch drops before. Let's turn esports back into a marketing tool and tie it to a battle pass. Half the money goes to the prize pool and half the money goes to Heroes of the Storm to keep it going. I said bring out a co-op versus AI mode. We have those co-op maps. We could just go through and balance them a little bit, make a couple more difficulties, just ramp up the numbers or something. And create a battle pass for that to pay for the balance and creation of more co-op modes. These battle passes would pay for things. Battle passes are one of the methods of monetization that most gamers are okay with. Most gamers don't really want to spend money on free-to-play games, but they understand that money needs to be spent. And so they don't like random things like loot boxes. They don't like overly expensive things like, I don't know, all of Diablo Immortal. But what they do like is something that's kind of cheap but can bring a lot of value, and it brings more value the more you play the game, which is exactly what a battle pass is. It gives something to everyone for free, and if you pay money, you get a little bit extra, and you get some cosmetics along the way. I recommended battle passes to be the way to keep Heroes of Storm going. Um, but Blizzard made several mistakes in what happened with Heroes of the Storm, and it's led to where we are now. So, what does this mean? The first thing that this means is we're going to lose a lot of content creators because there's no reason. All the YouTubers are going to end up running into the same content every day. The Twitch streamers will probably stay for a while because there's no reason not to. They still get a lot of viewers. A lot of their viewers don't even know what's going on. And so people like Fan, a lot of the tournament organizers that work with NGS, they'll stay around. HotS will stay around. I mean, a lot of them will stay around, but what's probably going to happen is they're going to take their schedule, and if they stream 5 days a week, one day is likely going to turn into a variety day. They're going to start with Heroes of Storm to build up their viewers, and they're going to switch to a variety game and see if they can build up a following there. So I would say for the next year or two, we're still going to have a lot of streamers. For probably the next 6 months, we'll probably still have any of the YouTubers left that'll make some extra content just to see how it does. Any of the videos they haven't done before, things like that. Microsoft will acquire Activision Blizzard, after about a year. There is talks about them potentially bringing it back, but you got to remember how many projects Activision Blizzard works on, and with Blizzard being, or with Heroes of Storm being the project that's the least profitable, it's not likely. I would say there is a 1% chance that Microsoft does anything other than giving all the heroes out on the Game Pass. And I would say there's only a 10% chance of them doing that because they've already partnered with Riot to do that. And if I know Riot probably has something in their contract that says, hey, we'll be your only game that you can do that with on the Game Pass. Because Smite would want to do it. I mean, Smite's already like $30 to get all the heroes or whatever, but the gods or whatever. And Dota's are already free. But you could imagine that's in Riot's contract to prevent Blizzard from doing the same thing, or Microsoft from doing the same thing for Heroes of Storm or whatever that mobile one is, Bang Bang or whatever. Any of those other games. So the odds are very low that we're going to see any changes for Microsoft's acquisition. This is such a good game, and I think this is the hardest part for everyone involved. And in the Nexus, I think when I was watching that, Kyle was almost at tears. He was almost at tears talking about how good of a game it is and how poorly Blizzard handled this. And it's so true. And I just wanted to talk about that, and I think I've covered that. So what does that mean for this channel? I think the vast majority of my viewers watch me for Heroes of the Storm, right? I sometimes make other videos for other games that I'm just kind of getting into for a little bit. I got into like TFT. I think I made a couple videos. I got into Legends of Runeterra, made a couple videos. When Magic Arena came out, I've always been in Magic, so when Magic Arena came out, I made a couple videos. And even before Heroes of Storm, I was making videos. But they were just the videos I made were more for friends. And that's kind of how Heroes of the Storm videos have turned out too. The coaching videos I've been doing for the last few months are more for friends. Yes, they're patrons. Yes, they pay, but it's more like a conversation with them. It's telling them, hey, you did this well. You could work on this. This is great. This is great, but let's work on this. Or and then I go to try mode and I showed you what not to do. Now I'm going to show you what to do. And I try to keep it like that, but it can make it a little bit difficult because I'm in a weird situation with the Heroes of Storm community. I've had, not to get, and I'm not going to get too into this, but there are 2 other communities in Heroes of Storm that have not been very nice to me. And for the most part, that's not a big deal. But their work, they spend more time, and the only reason I know about this is because I have a couple friends that are in those communities, and they screenshot what they say and send it over to me. They spend more time telling people not to watch my videos than I spend making videos. And they spend more time spreading rumors that are the dumbest rumors than I spend making videos. And so I ask my question, if I'm doing this for friends, when the community turns more negative against me than positive, why am I even doing this? These two communities are two of the largest communities in Heroes of the Storm, and the owners of these communities are the ones who are doing this. So I'm not going to tell you the communities, because if I leave, they might be the only things left making Heroes of the Storm content. And I want you guys to still have a place. But I do ask myself, what should I be doing? So for the foreseeable future, I think I'm still going to be making some Heroes of the Storm content. I do think I'm going to expand a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to do it on this channel or just make another channel, start fresh, and kind of move on. Some of the things that I've thought about doing were, I think I did like a psychology behind a couple games. I wanted to shift that a little bit. I've been I'm like more than halfway through my PhD right now in cognitive psychology, and that's kind of how we learn how we think and how it affects our brain, right? And how our brain affects our mind. And I wanted to kind of dive deeper into some of these games on how they can be pretty effective. But one of the other things I was looking at potentially doing was reviewing things that people are selling to try to improve your gaming, right? There's a lot of products about that. There's like specific mice, keyboards that are supposed to improve your gaming. And then there's like some brain things too. And there's nutritional products. There's like G Fuel, which I believe is what taurine and or no, it's yeah, I think it's taurine and caffeine, which is supposed to improve your reaction time. I think advanced GG is what like L-theanine and caffeine, which is supposed to improve your reaction time. Sorry. Reaction time was the first one. L-theanine and caffeine is improve your focus. I thought it might be interesting to kind of run studies to see if that actually works. But I don't know if that's something that I'm just interested in and if people would actually watch it. The other direction I could go is I could pick a new game. Every once in a while, I'll scroll through my Discord, and I find it interesting that sometimes when I'm scrolling through my Discord, I see more people playing League of Legends in my Discord than I see people playing Heroes of the Storm. And I wonder, would it be better for me to just make League content? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a poll down below. It's going to be the first link in the description. And I want to see, I'm going to put a few of the ideas that I've had, that I've thought about down there. And I want to see which ones you guys might like. You guys are the viewers here. I make content for you guys. That's one of the things that I love doing. So I want to know, is there something in particular you want to see out of this channel? Of course, I think most people would like me to continue making Heroes of the Storm content. That's not going to be on the list, but that is going to be something that I'm going to have by default, as I know that's probably what most of you guys want, because most of you are viewing this. But I do think, similarly to how everyone else is probably going to do about 20% of their time variety, I'm going to be doing the same. I'm going to be doing Heroes of the Storm content and maybe 20% variety. And so if Heroes of the Storm ends up dying off a little bit, I'll move more into that variety. But I think my goal is to still make some Heroes of the Storm content. I'm going to keep making the videos for my patrons. I thought about refunding them and just calling it quits, but I still enjoy the game. It's still a fun game, you know? And I still, as long as there's community here, I think I said that in HEC, as long as there's community, I'm here. I think it's a little different now, because again, there's only so many new things I can do, but I might go through and redo like the map videos since they're a little outdated. I might redo some of my guides for reworked heroes, and I might finally make a Probius video. Only hero I don't own, only hero I haven't done a video for. But yeah, so I will put that link down below. It's going to be a very short link, a very short like survey. If you guys could do the survey, just to give me an idea of kind of what you're looking for, and if it's something that I can do, I'll do it. And if it's something that I can't do, then I won't. Yeah, that's the Heroes of the Storm update, and hopefully you guys are still having fun if you're still playing the game, and if you're playing something else, let me know. Um, yeah. Thank you everyone for watching, and feel free to check out my other videos.